Welcome back. Praise the Most High. We are going to continue our study in the very important chapter of Revelation, chapter 14, as we have gone through the first two messages of the 144,000. The first message being worship the only true God, who is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the God, most importantly for us in modern times, of the nation of Israel. So it's important to understand who is Israel's God and who is Israel. If you don't understand that, you're going to be caught in the brainwash system that tells you that everybody worships the same God. That is not the case. Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. Let's begin at Exodus chapter 20. And in fact, we'll even begin before that in Exodus chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19, yes. I'm going to begin in Exodus chapter 19. And I'm going to begin at verse 1. Exodus chapter 19, verse 1 down to verse 7. Exodus chapter 19, from verse 1 to verse 7. And in the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto Yahweh, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. Lot in here. So first, and especially based on what we're going to be reading in Revelation 14, lot in here. Number one, people will say to you that, well, God gave the whole world the commandments in the Garden of Eden. Okay, let's say that's true. He gave the whole world the commandments. But at this point, he is making it abundantly clear that he's only choosing one people. He might have started off with all of Adam's children, but even before the flood, we saw a distinction made between those that belonged to the Father before the flood and those that didn't, which is why you had a lineage from Adam to Seth, going all the way down to Methuselah and Lamech and Noah. You had a lineage. Now he's choosing out people. And here he's saying the people that are Israel. Israel being the name of a servant that was the son of Isaac, who was the son of Abraham. Israel's children, he said, not me, he said, I'm going to make you a peculiar treasure. You're going to be a nation, a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. So this are the chosen people. So for us to understand who the true God is, you got to first know who the chosen people are. First of all, let me make sure that makes sense to everybody. Testing 1, 2, 3. In order for you to know who the true God is, no, every God is the same. Not everybody worships him. No. He said, I'm making one nation a peculiar people above all the people of the earth. And I'm choosing you. Who is you? We have to understand who you is for us to understand who the true God is. And he said, Israel is who you are. Now, we believe as bloodline Hebrew Israelites that the Israelite people are the people that were set up in chains, who went into slavery by ships, who looked like ancient Egyptians, otherwise melanated people, who had hair like wool, who went beyond the rivers of Ethiopia into a land that worships wood and stone. And there's only one people on the planet Earth who has that history, who don't even remember who they are otherwise. The only people, the so-called black people. We're the sons of Jacob. Okay, so first you need to find us and find who we worship. And as we are awakened to who we worship, all of us who are awakened to who we are turning to Yah. Now, that's the true God. Then he made known in Exodus chapter 20, after setting this prerequisite, he tells us, our fathers, Exodus chapter 20, beginning at verse 1, going down from verse 1 down to verse 6. And Yah spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, thy most high, which brought thee, a particular people. I brought you, thee, Israel, out of the land of Mizraim, the land of Ham, out of the house of slavery or bondage. It's particular people. I brought you out. And I'm giving you, he said, if you will indeed keep my covenant, then you're going to be my peculiar people. So he gives us the covenant. He didn't give it to everybody now. He chose a particular people. So we said, well, Adam had it. Okay, he might have. But now he's choosing a particular people. And he ain't changed from that. Forever. Okay? Forever. So now, if David is going to be his king forever, if Messiah is his Messiah forever, those brothers came out of Judah, of Israel. I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. This is important, brethren. So the only true God is the God of Israel. According to this book, the only true God isn't the God of the Hindus or the God of the Taoists. It's not the God of the Buddhists or the God of the Muslims or the God of the Christians or the God of the Ashkenazis. It's not them, because none of them were brought out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. None of them are the melanated people that had the chains on their neck and went into slavery by ship. None of them went beyond the rivers of Ethiopia into bondage. None of them. None of them. Zero. Only us. Okay, only us. So you want to know who the true God is? You better come to the awakened Hebrews, because they'll tell you who he is. And they're the only ones that know him. Okay? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh, thy most high, am a jealous most high, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So, brethren, the only true God is the God of the Hebrews, and we are the Hebrews. Let's make that abundantly clear. The only true God is the God of the Hebrews, and we are the Hebrews. And according to Moses, according to Ezekiel, and Isaiah, and Jeremiah, and Zephaniah, and Zechariah, and Messiah, and Paul, we have been scattered about the earth. So we are his scattered people. According to all them brothers, we are his scattered people about the earth. That's why we're not organized into a religion. We're a scattered nation. And the Father awakens everyone that is awakened as a scattered nation is awakened by the Father's Spirit. That's what joins us together. The Father's Spirit awakening all of us to the love of the Father. And Messiah, Yahweh Shah, at his right hand. At his right hand. Okay? Y'all got that? Praise the Most High. So the 144,000, the Bible clearly states, are of the 12 tribes of Israel. clearly states that. That's not even like in dispute if you're reading the Bible. It clearly says the 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Period. So now, the Israelite 144,000 are going to be able to sing a song that nobody else could sing because of our experience here. And our robes will be washed through the blood of the Lamb. And we will be without fault before the throne. We won't speak any guile, no deceit be in our mouth. And we're worshiping the only true God, not a man-made one. Not a man-made organized system of Christianity. Not a man-made organized system of Judaism. Not a man-made organized system of Islam. No, none of those. We're a scattered nation by the spirit of the only true creator, worshiping him and glorifying him. Which brings us to the first two messages of Revelation chapter 14. Before we get there, though, I want to look at a couple of prophets that give us a couple of testimonies. So let's start first in Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51. And we could get more, but let's start with Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah 51. Okay. Okay. Let's start at verse 1 of Jeremiah chapter 51 and go from verse 1 down to verse 6. Jeremiah chapter 51, from verse 1 down to verse 6 of Jeremiah, the prophet 51. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archers bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall be in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that thrust through in her streets. For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his most high, of Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. So there's a call in the book of Jeremiah to come out of Babylon, because she's going to be destroyed. Let's also look at another prophet in the mouth of two or three witnesses, Isaiah, in the mouth of two or three witnesses, Isaiah. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot here too. Let me start at chapter 48. Isaiah chapter 48. Isaiah chapter 48. Beginning at verse 16. Isaiah chapter 48. Beginning at verse 16 and going down to verse 22. Isaiah 48 from 16 to 22. Come ye near unto me, hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning, from the time that it was, there am I. And now Yahweh Most High and his spirit have sent me. Didn't we just talk about that? Here, Yahweh and his spirit have sent me. Thus saith Yahweh, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am Yahweh, thy Most High, which teacheth thee the prophet, which leadeth thee by the way thou shouldest go. Oh, that thou had hearkened unto my commandments, then had thy peace been as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea. Thy seed also had been as the sand, and thine offspring of thy bowels like the gravel thereof. His name should not have been cut off, nor destroyed from before me. Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans. With the voice of singing, declare ye. Tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth. Say ye, Yahweh hath redeemed his servant Jacob. Tell the end of the earth, Yahweh hath redeemed his servant Jacob, and come out of Babylon. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And they thirsted not when he led them through the deserts and caused the waters to flow out of the rock for them. He clave the rock also, and the waters gushed out. There is no peace, saith Yahweh, unto the wicked. So now we have in Jeremiah and in Isaiah, and we could probably find more, I am sure, but we have at least in those two for right now, two witnesses that are saying to ancient Babylon, come out. Israel, come out of there, because they're going to be destroyed. House of Jacob, come out of there, because they're going to be destroyed. Flee from Babylon. And we have already established that as there was an ancient nation, a kingdom of Babylon, there's a modern worldwide system of Babylon. Yes? Have we not established this from the scripture? There's now a worldwide. You worship not, you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? So you got a system now, a worldwide system. The Lamb like beast causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. But he said, the house of Jacob, which is a scattered house, he said, the Yahweh hath redeemed his servant Jacob. That's the scattered house of Israel, scattered house of the bloodline. So now the call was made first from the 144,000 to worship the true God. Stop worshiping false gods. The second call was made. Your time is fulfilled. The time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. Babylon is fallen. The time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. And now the third one. The third one. Revelation chapter 14. Let's begin at verse 9. Revelation 14, beginning at verse 9. Now remember, we studied the mark in the forehead, the mark in the hand, the right hand. Okay? We studied that. Right hand means what? You're received and you're blessed by a fellowship. You're being received into fellowship. The mark of the forehead means you are one of the teachers, the leaders of that fellowship. Okay? Mark in the forehead, mark in the hand. Neither of them are seen by man, but they're seen by the unseen worlds. Both the mark to the 144,000 and the mark to those that receive the beast image is seen by the Father, is seen by the angels. Okay? The deeds are seen by everybody. Just like when Nebuchadnezzar made a statue, the mark of the Father was on Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The mark of the beast was on everybody else. And how was it made manifest? Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were the only ones that did not worship the image. Everybody else, Jew and Gentile, bowed to the image. And they made themselves distinct by not worshiping the image. Okay, everybody see that? Testing 1, 2, 3. It is the exact same thing. Now, nobody will see the mark, but everybody will see the choice. Everybody will see the choice. And we're talking about a worldwide system of worship that you can clearly see is in the three Abrahamic religions. Versus a group of people coming out of slavery and receiving the power of the Father's Spirit and giving a warning to their people around the earth. Okay, now, Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 and 10. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 and 10. And the third angel followed them with a loud voice, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So the warning is given, do not worship the gods of Babylon, which is the equivalent of flee Babylon. We're dealing with worship. See, people get all confused because you're starting to put chips, RFID chips, and government agencies. No, you're dealing with worship. You're dealing with the worship of the one true God of Jacob versus everybody else. So 144,000 represents the awakening of Jacob and the sealing of Jacob. And the warning is given to all others. Worship one God. The time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. Don't worship any of these man-made organized religions. Because if you do, you're going to receive Yah's wrath. The message is going to be given with power, as it's going to be outlined again in Revelation 18. But I want you to notice it says that they'll be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. Let's go to Revelation chapter 19. Revelation chapter 19, and just going to read one excerpt because we're going to come back and read that again. Revelation chapter 19 from verse 20. Revelation chapter 19, verse 20. Compare that to what we just read in Revelation 14. Ready? Revelation 19, verse 20. Okay. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Do you see that? Let's look again at verse 10 of Revelation chapter 14. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yah, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. You see, it's the same thing. Okay, so the warning is given for the first resurrection. Do not worship the beast in his image. Do not be involved with man-made religion. Worship the only true God, and you will know who he is because he's the God of Jacob and Jacob's children, Israel. You will know who the awakened Israelites are because these are the people who were enslaved. We are what they call us, African descendants of slavery. Eidos, the descendants of slavery. If you're not sure who you are, let the redeemed of Yahweh say so. You don't got to even take a DNA test. You can know. What's your family history? Y'all messed up in this system. Y'all struggling in this system. Have you ever had somebody follow you around because you were a little bit more melanated than the other people? You've been in the criminal justice system of the United States of America. Have you been in the criminal justice system? Have you ever been in a jail cell? You ever been struggling financially in this system? Notice that other people from other nations don't, like you do. Do you know where you originate from? Do you know where you originate from? What country do you originate from? Somebody say Africa. That's not a country. Where do you originate from? What? You got to look at ancestry.com to find out? You know what? Somebody named O'Toole don't got to ask where they don't have to guess where they come from. Somebody named Wong don't have to guess where they come from. Huh? How come you're the only one? Somebody, yeah, what? Somebody named Bianchi know where they come from, right? Do you know your name? Your original name, not the slave one. What was your original name? What was your name before the children of Yafet named you after their people? What was your original name? Wasn't Smith or Jones? Wasn't Bunch or Powell? That wasn't your name. What was your name? Do you know your name? Guess what? If you don't know what your name is, if you don't know what country you come from, it's a high probability you're an Israelite. If you're judged because you got too much melanin, high probability you're an Israelite. That's right. See? So, brethren, it's not hard. It's not complicated. And look, in Revelation 14, the warning is given. A strong warning. Don't flee from Babylon. When they say flee from Babylon, it's not a place. It's not a place. It's a system. Testing. I want to make sure y'all catch this one. You're not, just because you move from New Jersey to Ghana, you ain't fled from Babylon. You are fleeing from a system of worship. The other day, I watched this brother that was young, pretty young brother. I think he retired from the military. So he's probably like 40 years old. And he left the United States with his military pension. And he went to Thailand. He met a girl from Thailand. And he's in love with this girl from Thailand. And he started worshiping her gods. The statue of the Buddha, he was bowing to it. See, he left the United States, but he didn't leave Babylon. He was so happy over there. You know, he's experiencing no racism over there. He is able to live very comfortably on his military pension over there. He's very happy with this pretty young girl he's with over there. But he's bowing to a statue because he doesn't know, number one, who he is. He really doesn't know who he is. He knows he needs to escape stuff, but he doesn't know who he is. So he left the United States, but he ain't leave Babylon. You see the difference? Whereas you and I, most of the people here, y'all still in the United States, but you're not in Babylon no more because you're worshiping your God. Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you following that? You didn't leave the United States. You're still here, but you ain't in Babylon no more. He said, flee Babylon. This is based on worship, y'all. Based on worship. What you worshiping, who you worshiping, what church you go to. When they ask you, what church? You go to a synagogue, you go to a mosque, it's okay. Or you go to church, which church? Which denomination? And you say none. Oh, you don't believe in God, you're atheist? No, I believe in the Bible. Bible, which you mentioned Israelite. Problem. But it's okay. The power of the Father's Spirit will be on us in such a magnificent fashion. They thought the early rain was powerful. Ain't seen nothing yet. The latter rain is going to be more powerful. More powerful. Because the latter rain is going to bring the harvest, brethren. It's going to bring the harvest of the Father. The Father say, Israel is the apple of his eye. He said, Jacob is his inheritance. He's going to bring the harvest of Jacob forth with his spirit through us. Okay? Praise the Most High. Okay, praise the Most High. So here, Revelation chapter 14, it's a warning given about worshiping these man-made religions. 666. Revelation chapter 14, verse 10. And now let's go from verse 10 and 11. Revelation chapter 14, verse 10 and 11. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. They have no rest, day or night. And we read already, there is no rest to the wicked. Peace and rest come in its totality from the Father's Spirit. The Father's Spirit give peace and rest. Walking with the Heavenly Father give us peace and rest. We are brought into existence for this purpose, brethren, to glorify the Heavenly Father. And we are built to receive his Spirit above all the people of the earth. We are built to receive his Spirit. But as Peter showed, the Gentiles will also receive the gift of the Holy Ghost as they receive the Hebrews. And this is a stern warning. And then you can compare the warning. You're going to be killed if you don't worship the image. You're not going to be able to buy or sell, and eventually you're going to be killed. Let's take a look at that. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. Revelation 13, 15. Let's compare the two sides. Revelation 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, brethren, along with the UN, we can also expect some movements in the state of Israel, correct? We can expect a reinstitution of sacrifices. We can expect a reinstitution with the blessing of the Pope. That's also part, and Israel, of course, is part of the UN. This is also part of the same. All of this works together. And now, if you don't worship the image of the beast, you're going to be killed. Versus Revelation 14, verse 10, and this is 9 and 10. If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yah. So you receive if you're a teacher, a leader in the man-made religious system, or if you are welcome into his fellowship, you are getting Father's wrath. If you don't, you are getting Satan's wrath. So choose you this day whose wrath you want. The majority are going to choose receiving Father's wrath and forsaking Father for man-made religion. The remnant of Israel, who will do no iniquity and have no deceit in their mouth, are going to choose receiving the wrath of Babylon. It's the ultimate rock in a hard place. And as Elijah said on Mount Carmel, choose you this day who you will serve, whether it's Baal or whether it's Yahweh. Again, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? We're talking about worship. Right? Now, verse 12, Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh, and again, the faith of Yahweh Shai. That is his faith, and his first quiz question of this session. Can you give me another phrase or a word for the faith of Messiah? What is it Baptist? Is it Pentecostal? What is the faith of Messiah? Is it Baptist or Pentecostal or SDA? What is the faith of Messiah? Is it Catholic? What is it? Is it Buddhist? That's right. The faith of Messiah is the righteousness of his Father. The righteousness of Father Yah is Messiah's faith. So those of us that obey the commandments, we're doing that by the power of the faith of Messiah. Does that make sense, y'all? We're not doing it by the power of our human flesh. We're doing it by the power of the righteousness of the Father, which is given to us to cause us to be justified. Right? Justified. So That's why it says they keep Yah's commandments and the faith of Messiah. And again, Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah and have the testimony of Messiah Yahushua. Messiah's testimony is his faith. Bears witness to his Father's righteousness. So the faith of Messiah is his testimony. Everybody understand that? So the faith of Messiah is his testimony. His testimony is the perfect righteousness of his Father. It all works together, brethren. And none of it is complicated. Praise the Most High. Now, again, we mentioned in the beginning of chapter 14 of Revelation, we see the 144,000 standing on Mount Zion with the Lamb. And we noted that that's their final disposition. That's where they've gotten the victory and it's all over. And the rest of chapter 14 shows you how they got there. Just like you see the final disposition of the beast and the 10 horns and the crowns on the horns. And the rest of 13 shows you how they got there. And now we're just about at chapter 13, verse 14 and 15, because the next step is this U.S. president that's going to come, whether it be Trump or one of his vice presidents, with him die, but they're going to be leading a religious conservative movement that's going to pour into the UN. Is going to be representing Christianity in the United States of America, the image to the beast out of the UN, and all the nations are going to be with it. All the nations are going to be with it. Okay. Now, the purpose of the 144,000's 3 messages is the victory over the beast in his image and the destruction of Babylon. That's the purpose, right? So that the Father is going to have a harvest, right? He's going to have a harvest. And here's another quiz question. Are you ready? Here's another quiz question, Israel. Family, I think you're going to have this pretty easy. What feast represents the harvest? What feast? Is it the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Is it the Pentecost? What feast represents the harvest? The final harvest. That's right. The Feast of Tabernacles represents the final harvest. And before the Feast of Tabernacles, right before that, there was a Day of Atonement to perfect Israel. That's the whole point of the Day of Atonement. See, the Day of Atonement is not just Yom Kippur for a bunch of, never mind, but it's for us to be perfected in the Father's righteousness so that he can now bring forth the harvest. These bones are the whole house of Israel. Praise the Most High. So now we've already seen the people in their preparation of character. Now we saw also their messages to the 4 corners of the earth. And now finally what we're going to see that brings them to Mount Zion is the harvest. Okay? So here we're going to, the last stage of this is the harvest, which you and I understand is representative of the Feast of Tabernacles, or as you said correctly also, the Feast of Ingathering. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 14, beginning at verse 13. So we've seen the character, we've seen them stand on Mount Zion, we've seen the development of their character, we've seen the message that they give, and now we're going to see the harvest at the end of that message, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 14, beginning at verse 13. First of all, they're going to pay homage to those that die. Those that die in Messiah. And it's already happening. There's a lot of people being put to rest in Messiah to save them. And of course, Isaiah is a witness to this. We'll talk about that another time. But there's witness. There are people put to death or allowed to die. You see, have you noticed? My wife and I have noticed there are people that even the most health conscious that we know, and we know some very health conscious people. We know people that ain't ate flesh food in decades. Now, it's literally decades. Would eat only fruits and vegetables, exercise, and die of stage 4 cancer of the internal organs. Not just one or two. We have known teenagers that were faithful as they could be as teenagers drop dead of heart attacks. My wife and I personally know people like that. Okay. And so nowadays, people are dying, and they're dying young, and some of them you wonder, but they were so faithful. But that's the whole point. The Father's allowing some faithful ones to be put to rest until the harvest. Okay, He's allowing some faithful ones. There's two particular individuals my wife and I have known for our whole marriage, definitely more than almost 40 years, right? One sister, strict vegan, strict, real slim, could sing like a bird. Thought she had a cramp. She thought she had a cramp. She was doing stuff in her garden. She grew garden food. She thought she had a cramp and went to the doctor. It was stage 4 liver cancer. And within a few weeks, she died. Thought she had a cramp. Another brother, same thing. Strict, discipline in terms of his diet and exercise. Discipline, man. Didn't have no flesh food for decades. Stage 4 stomach cancer that spread in all his organs, and he died. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't try to eat healthy. What I am saying is these people are signs that the Most High is putting some of his people to rest. They may not know all we know. He'll resurrect them, and during the 1,000 years, they'll learn. But he knew they loved him. And he's putting them to rest, to save them. As Isaiah said, until these things be overpassed. To save them from the wrath to come. In fact, let me show you that. Let's take a look. Isaiah. I just opened right up to it. Isaiah 57. Isaiah 57. Isaiah chapter 57. I'm going to read verse 1 and 2 of Isaiah 57. Isaiah 57, verse 1 and 2. Notice what it says. The righteous perisheth, and no man layeth it to heart. And merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. He shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one in his uprightness. Wait a minute, I got some more. Same Isaiah though. Isaiah chapter 26. Let's take a look. I think it's chapter 26. Yep, Isaiah chapter 26. Notice what it says in Isaiah 26, verse 19, 20, and 21. Isaiah 26. Isaiah speaks about this a couple of times here. Isaiah 26, verse 19, 20, and 21. Thy dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust, for thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, that's the grave. Enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. For behold, Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also that shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. So he is allowing people to be put to rest until these things are finished, for their sake. Thank you, Mark. I knew there were more. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Thank you, Mark. But look, notice also, back to Revelation chapter 14 and verse 13. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Master from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. That's why you're seeing some saints that ain't quite come to this truth, but they are faithful in what they know, and before they can know anymore, they're laid out. And they're laid out because the Most High is going to teach them his truth in a better environment when they are resurrected. And during the course of the 1,000 years, they will learn. Does that make sense, y'all? During the course of the 1,000 years, they will learn. Okay, there he got some of his that's being laid out. See? So he says, blessed are the dead that die in Yahweh from henceforth. That is, from now. From the time that the 144,000 are preparing to give their message, there are people that are going to be put to rest and are actually, as I mentioned, being put to rest for them to be resurrected in a little while. That's all it is, a little while. That's right. They'll learn during the course of the 1,000 years. They'll learn what they didn't know before. Okay, praise the Most High. Okay. Revelation chapter 14. Now here's the harvest. See, you see everything? 144,000 in their character. The messages given by the 144,000 to Yah's people all over the earth. The warning message included. The people that are left that are obedient to the commandments by the Father's righteousness, and those that have put to rest or death for their own sake so they could be saved. Okay. And then Revelation chapter 14, verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud. And upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. All right, here's a question. Here's another one. What is the instrument of a sickle used for? What is the instrument of the sickle? There's an instrument called the sickle, a tool. What do they use this tool for? What is the purpose of a sickle? What is the purpose of a sickle? That's right. It's reaping a grain harvest, right, Brother Mark? It's the reaping of a harvest. A sickle is to reap a grain harvest. That's right. To cut the stalks of grain and reap the grain harvest. So here's the Son of Man. And he's on a cloud. And he has a sickle. He's reaping a harvest. And we just said, the harvest reaping is brought together in the Feast of Tabernacles. That's when you bring all your stuff together. In the Feast of Tabernacles, you bring all your harvest that you reaped. Feast of Tabernacles. Okay? Revelation chapter 14. Now, unless you're an Israelite, you really won't understand that. Correct? Unless you're an Israelite, you won't understand that. Okay? Even if you are, people still don't understand it. Not yet, but by the grace of the Father, they will. But Revelation chapter 14, let's read that again. From verse 14, let's read verse 14 and 15. Revelation chapter 14, verse 14 and 15. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man. That's the Messiah, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So he got a harvest of grain, and it's ripe, right? See, he's gonna reap his harvest, and that is a sign of the Feast of Tabernacles. They're bringing in the harvest of the earth. Okay, and we saw also that sign in Revelation chapter 7 that the 144,000 were sealed. After their sealing, there was a harvest, and you saw that Feast of Tabernacles because the people had palm branches in their hands. Palm branches are brought to the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, so you got that. So now you got the wheat being harvested, being reaped from the messages that were given. Verse 16. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Okay, so he thrust his sickle into the earth, and the earth was reaped. Everybody got that? Testing 1, 2, 3. That's the wheat harvest. He says, time for thee to reap, for the harvest is ripe. So he got him. There it is. Okay, now verse 17. Here's a second reaping. There's wheat and there's something else. What else is reaped aside from the wheat? You get the wheat, and then there's this other thing that needs to be reaped also. What else is there? There's wheat. That's his people. What else? What else needs to be reaped? What is there left? Tares. That's right. Tares are no good. They're only good for the fire. Well, wait a minute. Let's look. Revelation chapter 14, verse 17, 18, 19, and 20. Revelation chapter 14, from verse 17 to verse 20. And another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yah. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles, by a space of 1,600 furlongs. So you have two reapings. One is for the Son of Man, the other one's for the wrath of Yah. You see, there's two reapings. The one for the Son of Man, we know where they're going. The one for the son of the devil, well, the children of the devil, we know where they're going. Praise the Most High. Everybody caught that so far? Everybody got that? That's right. The tares go to the wrath, the winepress of the wrath. And he said they were trodden without trodden. That means stamped, stomped on, outside the city. Stomped on, outside the city. And blood was everywhere. Well, do you know we read this before, right? Isaiah gave us witness to this. Isaiah gave us witness to this. Yes, he did. Let's take a look. In Isaiah chapter, 63. Isaiah 63. And we just read also, he's going to punish all the inhabitants of the nations in Zephaniah chapter 3. We did read that. But here, Isaiah chapter 63. I like the way he puts it. Isaiah chapter 63. Notice what it says here. And I want you to notice where it's describing and the people that he's describing. Isaiah 63, beginning at verse 1, going down to verse 7. Isaiah 63, 1 through 7. Basically, it's what we just read, but it's another witness. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments of Basra? Who is this that cometh from where? He came from where? He came from Edom? Oh, we know where the Edomites are now, don't we? Yeah, they're setting up shop in a particular place. This, it says, this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. That is the Messiah. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth the wine fat? Wait a minute. We just said that the Bible told us that this second reaping is for the winepress of the wrath of Yah, didn't we? And this one says, thy garments are red. You look like somebody that treaded the wine fat, like, stomping grapes. In verse 3, I have trodden the winepress alone. Of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Just like it said, the blood came up to the horses' bridles. Didn't we just read that? And he said, I don't want nobody to help me with this. I'm taking this personal. He said, Rick, he said, I've tried in the wine press alone. Of the people, there was none with me. I trampled them in my fury. Messiah is taking this alone, and he's taking it personally. Like I said, people ain't got to fear me or you. It's our cousin they're going to have a major problem with. As you can see, did I say, he said, their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments. I will stain all my raiment. Verse 4, for the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help. And I wondered that there was none to oppose. Therefore, my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk with my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. I will mention the loving kindness of Yahweh and the praise of Yahweh according to all that Yahweh hath bestowed on us. Great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he hath bestowed on them according to his mercies, according to the multitude of his kindness. So you can see he loves one group, but man, is he angry at the other. Yeah, exactly, Mark. That's exactly right. It sounds to me that he coming back to do business, and they ain't gonna like it. But you see, if we go back to Revelation 14, when you go back to Revelation 14, what we must observe from Revelation 14, I suggest, is that, tell me if I'm wrong, but are they given fair warning? See, before this happens, are they given fair warning is my question. Before this harvest time comes, is the earth given fair warning? Did he just do this without them knowing? No, they're given fair warning. They're given warning with the power of the Father's Spirit. They're given warning. And that's why I say to y'all, please make sure you understand this must be of the Spirit of the Father. Seek the Father's Spirit, seek his word, because it's him that's responsible. It's him that gets the glory. It's him that prepares us. That's why when you see stuff like this, they're going to say, you're saying you guys are going to kill us? No, I'm not saying nothing. I'm saying you better watch my cousin, though. He's got a particular problem, especially with the Edomites. He's got a particular issue with did I read that right, or did it say Basra and Edom? He got a particular problem with the Edomites. Particularly. Why would he have a problem with them? Because they are claiming to be Jews and are not. Synagogue of Satan. Now, the Bible does say some of them are going to be saved. It does. Amos chapter 9 says it. And also it says it in Revelation. He said, there are those that say they are Jews or not, but do allow and make them come and worship before your feet and to know that I have loved you. So there's going to be some of the Ashkenazis that come to this truth, but it's not going to be the majority by any stretch. It's going to be a remnant, just like with every other people. It's going to be a remnant. Okay, a remnant that's going to come to this truth. But the majority of their cousins, you read and saw. We saw. I didn't say you saw what it said. That's right. You saw what it said. So there you go. So now we have seen in the completeness both sides. What is going on in the world stage with Babylon, and what Yah is doing with the 144,000. You've seen it. Okay. Now, look, you know what's going to happen now. You see there's the United States of America. There's a Rome. There's a Pope. There's United Nations. You can see there's a Donald Trump. There's evangelicals. They're voting for Donald Trump. Testing. Are we seeing all this? Are we? It's right here, brethren. It's right here. It's right here. And you and I have been brought from thousands and thousands of years ago into existence now, to exist now, that we would be here now, brought into existence for these last movements. You and I I know it's amazing, isn't it? Of all the peoples that have inhabited planet Earth, of all the billions and billions and billions that have inhabited planet Earth, here we are, the last people of the Babylonian kingdom. It's amazing. But we are the end. We are the end. Okay? It's very tremendous. Now, we got some other stuff to read, which we will continue in our next study. But as you can see, we've covered a lot of ground, and very important ground, and ground that we can actually see. It's almost like we can smell it. It's right around the corner, brethren, and stuff that's already here. There's already a United States of America. There's already a UN. There's already a president of the United States. There's already one man on earth that has power of state and religion. There's already an awakening of the Israel. This is all happening. It's all here. It's all here. Okay? Please pray to your Heavenly Father. Read his word. Start in the beginning and go through it. Read his word, brethren. And he will bless you. He will bless you and guide you through. May the Father Yahweh bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May your Father Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Remember Sister Isha Shama. Remember Sister Joyce, Brother Diamond Holdings. Remember the brethren, Ade Sadiq, that need help from the Father. Remember them in your prayers. Shalom, brethren.